Alright, so welcome to Ask Jaws, the video that I make once a week where I answer your questions, reply to some of the comments, and maybe I throw in a couple things from Twitter that deserve to see the light of day. Alright, so if you want to be in any of the videos, you can get with me on Twitter or respond in the comments to any of my videos with hashtag AskJaws. Let's get going. We got a lot of questions this week. I may have to start separating this out into 2 times a week, which is good. I'll do my best I can to get to everybody's question today. Now, first one today. Where are we? Who we got today? Today, the first one is from Bud the Monkey, and he wants to know who the next captain of the Panthers would be if we were going to choose a new captain. The quick, easy answer for me is Ekblad. I think he should have been made captain. When Barkov got the captain, perfect mix of being one of our best players with a leader-like quality about him, who's excitable, who works hard. He's done the hard work of figuring out how hard it is to play at an elite level. I would have definitely gone with not with Barkov. I would have definitely gone with Ekblad over Barkov. Charles wants to know if I think the Panthers are actually true contenders because he feels like we could have beaten Tampa Bay if we had a healthy Ekblad. I will throw in there if we had played Spencer Knight from the beginning. And that's the biggest reason why I feel like we are very close to contending. We still have a few contracts that we know we have to sweep under the rug and send somewhere else. And then we've got a couple of holes to fill. We definitely need another legit top 4 defenseman, and we definitely need a partner for Barkov. That doesn't mean we have to break the bank for the partner for Barkov. Give us another Verhaeghe. All right? Zito's already proven with Verhaeghe, Forsling. He can find good young players. So I think we get that situation situated and just let Knight do what he's going to do. And yes, I think at that point, we're definitely a team where, a bounce here, a bounce there, and we could be talked about as cup contenders. All right, Rosado wants to know what I would do if I was Zito if we lost Drieger, and then also asking about if I'm ever going to make it out to a game. The part about Zito is if we lose Drieger to Seattle, I would say, whew, and be happy about it. Not that I want to lose Drieger, don't get me wrong, but we're losing him anyway. So if we lose Drieger as expected, that means Forsling, Gudis, Vetrano, Achari, those guys didn't go anywhere. So that helps us because we already have a backup, right? We already have a $10 million backup. So, I mean, it is what it is there. But yeah, so as far as Drieger leaving, I already, in my mind, he's already gone. Now, in terms of am I ever going to get down to a game, that's a tough question wrapped in a lot of answers. It depends on my health. It depends on the restrictions with the movement. And, of course, it depends on the dogs. There's a lot that goes into it for me. Right now, if I'm going to try to make it down for a game, I'm definitely going to do it during a playoff time because I want to make my shot count. Because for me to travel, I need more days than it would take. I can't just fly in and get off the plane and go to the game because most of the time when I go to an airport and I do all of that, I'm going to get sick and I'm going to need a day where I'm just going to be down. So it's not easy for me to make it happen. And on top of the fact, I don't like leaving the dogs, and that's probably the bigger thing there. So I'm not saying never, but I wouldn't hold anybody. I wouldn't, hold your breath waiting on me. Eli wants to know what is the plan for preseason NHL content. Now, I'm not sure if you meant the actual games or just during the off season. During the off season, I'm going to be doing a lot of more in-depth videos where I have to do research, like the difference between Bob now versus how he was. I'm going to be diving completely into the expansion draft, including live streaming the entire draft. So I've got a lot of research there. So I'm going to be doing a lot of videos where you guys aren't normally used to seeing me do that type of video. A lot of videos where I'm going to have to research certain topics. And if you guys come on the live streams, absolutely float ideas that you want to see me do a video on, and I'm trying to get to all of those. So during the off season, if you have an idea you want to get to, absolutely just message me and I'll try to get to that. Alright, Tons Anthony had a couple of questions. I'm going to try to wrap up. So as you can see here, the first thing he wants to know is how people can think Matthews is better than Barkov, and then he also wants to know, it smells fishy, he says, the whole thing with Vegas being chosen over Florida for the site for the All-Star game. I did make a video about the All-Star game, and it turns out that most likely the way it went down was Florida was given the option, and we chose to wait the extra year so that practice facility that we're building will be prepared. So that doesn't really smell so fishy now. Now in terms of Austin Matthews and Barkov and the Selke winner not making the second team, all NHL team at center, you're wondering how much pot does somebody have to smoke. And I'm going to tell you right now, they're doing kratom first, and then they're smoking the pot. That's probably what smells fishy to you, even. Okay, you have to take a teaspoon of kratom and put it in yogurt, mix it up, and eat that. Then you're going to be flying high for about 3 or 4 hours, and then you have some Monster, you have some coffee, and then you're going to feel like you're 19 again for another couple of hours. Then when you need to get to sleep, you have a couple of hits, and you go right out, and you have no pain when you wake up. That's probably what they're doing, I guess. I don't know where I got the idea from. Tyler wants to know if Yandel and Strawman basically had the exact same contract. Who would I rather have? For me, it's a no-brainer. I would rather have Strawman. Strawman is not great, but he's solid, and he doesn't really make a lot of mistakes. He's just not as good as he once was. Yandel, he has that offensive upside, but when he makes a mistake, it's brutal, and the puck's in the back of the net. So for me, it's not close. I'd prefer Strawman if everything else was equal. Sal wants to know what I think about the AHL deal that we made with the Kraken. Now, I did make a video about that, but it was for the Patreon people only. So basically, the idea that I have there is that I thought for a half a minute that we were getting suckered, and then I came to realize that we actually shared the AHL affiliate with the Lightning this past season because the Charlotte Checkers opted out because of COVID. Now, I couldn't find a lot of information on how it works, except for a lot of people asking the same question, which is, in this example, if you've got the Panthers AHL affiliate, and it's the Panthers coaches and our system staff and the whole thing, and then you suddenly bring in 8 to 12 players that are going to be from the Kraken, it's very, very strange to me, because who's going to decide who plays, right? I mean, I know the coaches decide who plays, but it puts our guys in the position of having to give less playing time to our players to help out another team, another franchise's players. And then the Kraken, their scouting department and everything have complete access to everything that's going on. So it doesn't make a lot of sense to me from the standpoint of, obviously, to me at least, seems like it would create some sort of competitive advantage or disadvantage. I mean, if the Panthers have a guy that's really tearing it up and their scouts are watching how this guy plays and seeing in depth his strengths and weaknesses, later on, a couple years later, there we are playing the Kraken in the playoffs, and their scouting department has had a unique advantage on what goes into how that certain player plays. And it goes both ways. So it's really confusing to me in terms of how that's okay with everybody, and I could find nothing online that answers that question, just a lot of people asking the same question. Alexander wants to know what's the origination behind the "we are going to overtime" when Matthias does his thing on Twitter for everybody, and then when was my first Panther game? So the first Panther game was during the '96 run. It was not during the playoffs, it was during the regular season. Went to a game at the Miami Arena. I want to say we played the Flyers. I'm pretty fairly certain that's who we played. I know we won and we threw rats. It was a beautiful, beautiful thing. It was. I had never been to a hockey game, obviously, and just the ambiance. I kept being told by people, you got to go to a live hockey game, because at that point, I was a football guy. And once I went to a live hockey game, I was completely hooked. Completely hooked. So, yeah, that's when. I think it was the Flyers, but I had to look back at the schedule and see for sure if that's who it was. Now, Matthias used to be a lot more active, you know, when he'd be downstairs watching the games and everything like that. You know, as he's gotten older, his interests have changed. But this happened, the one that you guys see now, that we are going to overtime, that's actually the second version. There was a original version that he did right around the same time that I opened up the channel, obviously. And it just happened basically where we were going to overtime one day, and then he decided to do this thing. He would stand up in front of the TV and say that we are going to overtime. So then, you know, a year or two down the road, whenever it was, I said, hey, why don't we film a little piece on purpose so that when we go to overtime, it puts you on Twitter? And he was like, yes! So we filmed the first one, and then after a while, we updated it because he's gotten so much bigger, right? When he started, he was like this 12-year-old little kid, and now he's a monster. So it just happened organically. He would do that on his own. When we were sitting downstairs watching a game, we would go to overtime, and so we just turned him into a meme, so to speak. Now this thread, I'm just going to sort of let you read what happened. I knew I was making a play on words. I was making a pun when there was a power play a few days ago in one of the games, and then of course, and then I made the mistake of tagging Timmy, which I knew he would have something to say, but that's not what I thought he was going to say, and now it's hashtag Ask Jaws, and I have to answer the question. So the answer to your question is, if you're talking about with Keegan, you're going to have to get with him. Apparently he's very proud of his package. Maybe you two can, you know, have a party. If you're asking me when we're fucking, well, I only thing I can tell you is that in my former line of work, that would land me in jail. I used to be a massage therapist, so I'm trying to dance around this a little bit. Let's put it this way. I'm not quite broke enough at this stage to answer that question in the positive, but I know people who have. So average Floridian, he was being, you know, sarcastic, but he asked the question that you see here and basically wanted to know, hey, did we miss an opportunity? Is there a chance, some way, somehow, we could pull a Tampa Bay and put Bob on the LTIR with an injury? Now, I obviously wouldn't have a huge issue with that, but there's a couple of things here. Number one, you know, Spencer Knight, as much as I love the kid, he's not going to play 82 games. We still need a legit backup goalie for, you know, 30 games, even if we just throw Knight out there to the Wolves. That would lead to the return of James Reimer. I'm almost convinced of that. The other problem I have with that is that then we got to bring Bob back, and that, it's just going to be so pleasant without all the jibber jabber about who should be the starter, that once he's out of the picture, out of sight, out of mind, nobody wants their ex coming back. Once they move out and leave, they're gone, right? So that would kind of be like, you know, your ex moving back in, which is just, it's just not an optimal thing. And here again we go on Twitter again. Automatics definitely has made himself a star here on hashtag AskJaws. And he does have a striking similarity to Alex Jones. So he was lamenting that it's been a little bit too long since he had a certain sexual experience. And so I sent him to FetLife.com, where I'm sure that there would be somebody for him. He's wanting to know, well, how do I know about FetLife.com? Well, the answer to that question, unfortunately, is not as exciting as you might think, or certainly not as exciting as I am willing to divulge here publicly. However, the truth is to why I know about that site is Karen's roommates before she left her house and moved here, before she got divorced, she had a couple of roommates who apparently between the two of them were a collective 700 pounds and all about the fetishes. They were all over that site, and they actually tried to get her to engage, and it was actually one of the first questions that she asked me, basically, is what's your name and are you a freak?
And Hockey Rob wants to know if I will send some nude pictures. He wants puppet nudies. I tell you what. Well, everybody, we just gonna have a big party, all right? We just gonna have a big party on opening night, and everybody get naked. We get naked all the time. I'll send all the pictures of me naked. I'll be inside out and upside down, and ooh, I cannot wait. Naked.
All right. I believe that was enough. I'm really enjoying doing these. It gives me something different to talk about. So feel free to hit me up with any questions, subjects, comments. I might have to start doing, I'm sure if this is what I'm getting during the off season, I'm sure that come the regular season, I'm probably going to have to split this up into 2 videos. Maybe one will be questions and one will be, comments that come on the YouTube channel. I'll figure that out. All right, so what is today? Today is Tuesday, and tomorrow we don't know if we're having a hurricane or a hockey game in Tampa. That's great. And then the stupid storm is going to head up the coast and go right over my house, apparently somewhere around Thursday or Friday. So that's just a beautiful thing. Now it's just going to be, a low pressure system by then, but still. That means I got to get the generator ready just in case, because it's summer and I can't screw around with Fluffy. I got to make sure I got air conditioner. So I got work to do. That sucks. So the point is, I haven't read or heard anything, but I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, if there's going to be a hurricane during the game, they might consider the possibility of postponing and moving it or changing it or whatever the hell they're going to do. So that's going to be something to watch. If there is a game, it is supposed to be at 8 o'clock from what I see. I said 9 o'clock yesterday. I was wrong like normal. The live stream will be 1 hour before the game tomorrow, and then the recap, and then hopefully we can move on to Game 6. And if not, I can start really deep diving into the expansion draft. Oh, somebody had asked the question, I don't think I had it on here, about my expansion draft list. I don't know why it didn't show up on the laptop for me. But I'm going to be making a video about that, a couple of videos, and then I'm going to be live streaming the entire draft. I'm not sure how long that's going to be. So I will get to that question. Like I said, the list got so long that I'll probably start splitting it up into 2. All right. Montreal. Dudes, guys, I'm at 3.95 thousand hours. I need 4,000 hours to get monetized, or at least be able to apply to get monetized. Game 6 would really, it's going to happen during Game 5. I'm probably going to hit the 4,000 hours during the live stream for Game 5. But Game 6 would be helpful because when you go to do the monetization, YouTube doesn't count the watch hours that are from copyrighted videos, right? So like the Dale Talon video I did the other day, because it's a Hall & Oates song, that doesn't count for my watch time. So they get a little bit fussy about that, but that's okay. I don't mind it. All right, guys, I will see you tomorrow, 1 hour before the game. You know what? Even if there's no game, and I'll make a post about this, but if they suspend, if they have to postpone the game, we'll do something. We'll do a live. We'll have some fun with it. We'll have a hurricane party. All right, guys. I'll see you tomorrow.